As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I have experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. This is my time to share my journey with you. Welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. Hello, and welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost hunter, Justin Brown, and we are presenting episode 84, and we're going to be talking about the ethics of ITC version 2, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why I'm bringing this up, and it's sad that we have to talk about it because it should not be something that happens, but we're dealing with human nature, so here we are. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I see people joining: Sandy Griffin, John Cool, Spirit Stalker Afterlife, Bill Davis, aka Paranormal Reporter, Janet Pennington, Dawn Marie Kelch, Tina P. Thank you for joining me. We'll shout everybody out here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Please feel free to share. Please keep the conversation classy, civil. But please comment. I want to know what you guys think about this stuff. Even if you disagree with me, we can all have a respectful conversation, even if we don't agree. And the reason for doing this show is, not just to hear myself talk. I want to know what you guys think about the subject, and I want you guys to know what I think. So here we got Jessica and Melissa helping us out with the chat. Are you girls ready to talk about this again?
Sure, why not? Let's do it.
You want to do it? Okay.
Let's talk about it.
All right, we will. So if you're not used to the show, this is how it works. If you got a question or if you would like your comment to be read out, just be patient. Jess and Missy will read them off periodically throughout the show. After my 10-15 minute monologue thing or my little rant soapbox session that I do, we will, definitely interact, right with the chat, seeing what you guys are doing. Hopefully I'll get some feedback from the girls with this, and everybody else on this show can have fun. But the question is, it comes up in the ITC field. When a celebrity dies, some people cannot help the urge to use this for clickbait, to use this for attention and views, even though almost every one of these ITC researchers that have YouTube channels and internet followings say that it's out of respect for the people who have passed. But why is it that they only target celebrities? Why don't they, do it normal on a normally basis, like other than just a casual, trying to contact other people who they see in their local news that's passed away? Maybe why don't they go through obituaries and do it normally? I don't see this happening. But if they do it, that would be a little bit different, but still, you got to talk about the ethics of it. So what you end up seeing is when a celebrity dies, especially someone well-known like Kobe Bryant and his daughter, may they rest in peace, you get ITC researchers out there posting up videos, using spirit boxes, using apps, Ghostbox, what have you, to see if they can contact these folks that have just passed. They don't even wait 24 hours. They'll do it the day of. and post it. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the first thing you want to consider when trying to focus on the ethics involved is how would the family and those who are still alive that suffer from this tragedy react to you doing this? It's one thing if the family reached out to you privately and asked for you to do this. That's a whole nother show. But this show is just taking it upon yourself to say, hey, let's see, let's bring up, the recently deceased celebrity on the phone and have a chat. Okay, so that's basically what it is. And in my opinion, it's the lowest blow you can do when it comes to trying to get content on your media networks, your YouTube channel, your Facebook pages, whatever you're putting out there. It's a low blow because you can claim that you're doing it out of respect and out of love, and it's part of your spirituality. But if that is true, then your spirituality is in a bad place. And we're going to go back to what those being affected by it, the loved ones, the friends, the family that are suffering from this tragedy, what would they think about it? So if you ask yourself that question and your answer is, well, I'm going to pretend like I'm talking to them with a broken radio or an app on my cell phone, and they would appreciate that. If that's your answer, you're insane, or you're extremely, extremely disrespectful if that's what you think. Because I think it's common sense that question should be answered as, there's no fucking way you would even release any kind of garbage like that, because that's just flat out disrespectful. Despite what you believe, despite whether you truly believe it or not, is absolutely disrespectful. Going to a graveyard, pointing a camera at a tombstone, and doing a session, same thing. I've had experience with this. Me and my wife have publicized a legitimate endeavor, an attempt to try to contact past family members. It upset people in the family. So we learned firsthand that this is not something that you should do. This is something that you need to keep private, something that's very sensitive, and is absolutely a no-no. If you want to be seen as somebody who is respectful, have any type of empathy or sympathy for this kind of situation, the only thing that's kosher, the only thing that you can do that looks respectful, in my opinion, is to express your condolences, express your sorrow to those who are suffering from it, and say a prayer. Use some of your energy to put forth into the universe that's positive, constructive, and does not exploit those that have passed. And that's the takeaway. That's my opinion, straightforward opinion. The ITC researchers out there who do this sort of thing are exploiting the dead. Okay, if you have a YouTube channel that's monetized, you're making money on this. You're actually making money on it. The fact that someone's died and you got 10,000 people, 100,000 people thinking that you are actually contacting the dead. Okay? For one, Kobe Bryant is not going to be talking to you on an app or on a radio. It's just not going to happen. I don't care if you claim that you are the most talented spirit medium in the universe. It's just not feasible. It's not common sense. Okay, folks? The people who believe that they can have mental problems. If you have extraordinary claims, you need extraordinary evidence. And if you don't have that, that's one thing. If you do have that, that's another. But the ethics behind whether you should do it in the first place should be the first thing you need to consider. Okay, even though it is true that you're contacting these people beyond the grave, you need to understand what is respectable, what is the proper behavior in these situations. And, everybody knows I mean, everybody follows these people that put that stuff out there. They get tons of views, but it's mixed. A lot of people that follow them, they support whatever they do. It doesn't matter what they do. They support them. It doesn't matter what kind of dirt you rake up on these people. The supporters, it's like a cult following. It's like they're mindless zombies who do not challenge a thing about whoever they're supporting or following. You should always challenge and scrutinize everything that I say and I do. And I leave my work out there to be peer-reviewed, challenged, and scrutinized. And if I can't handle that, I'm in the wrong field, folks. And if you can't do that, then you're in the wrong field. You're only looking for your own answers and only satisfying and maybe what's the word? Trying to prove to yourself that this is true or not through confirmation bias, or maybe you are more critical and trying to objectify that. But if you're trying to diversify your spirituality, you need to have your morals in check. You need to have ethical principles that make sense. You just don't do this type of thing. And we're going to get to all your comments. I see everybody chiming in here. I hope that this is a popular, debate and conversation to have. I think the more people talk about it and express their opinion, the better. And I think that sharing these videos mixed with your outrage, if you oppose this, is not the best thing to do because you're actually giving them more views. You don't want to share their content and then explain why you dislike it or not good. You don't even want to name them because any publicity you give these people is going to be beneficial to them as far as how they can monetize and exploit these type of things. So we don't want these people to have a name. We don't want them to direct any attention towards them, but we do want to hear what people say, whether they support it or not. Now, if you support this and if you think this is fine, I am not going to attack you on this show. I'm going to listen to what you have to say and be respectful. All right. So if you're afraid to say that you support this type of behavior, I will not attack you. I'm just letting you know up front that I don't condone this type of behavior. I think it's unethical. It's flat out wrong. So I think that's all there is to say about it. For me anyways. Let's do some shout outs and let's see how many people has unfriended me.
Okay, you ready?
Sure.
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Okay. I have Bill, I have Derek, I have Janet, I have Gina, I have Sherry, I have Dawn, I have Sandy, I have Rebecca, I have Valerie, Gina, Josh, Laura, Waylon, Marilyn, Carl, Paul, Sandy H, and Nelson Nouse. And on RU Media, I have Ghost Sisters, Janice, and Eddie Pence.
All right. That's a lot of people on Facebook.
Yeah.
Can we match that?
On YouTube, Sam Thomas, Paranormal Paratrooper, Darren Smith, Hannah Spalding, John Cool, Tina P, Spirit Stalker, Betty Kegley, Truth Paranormal, Jen, and Heath Edwards.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, everybody. For right now, let's just go to some of the comments that has jumped out. If there's any questions, we can address those first. Does it look like there's an overwhelming support for my viewpoint, or is there anybody that challenges this or feels like this is an okay thing? Because I want to make sure that we hear everybody out. Or
everyone
represent.
That's commented said they 100% agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, same on YouTube as well. Darren Smith had a question, if you want to explain it. What does ITC stand for?
ITC stands for Instrumental Transcommunication. So it could be dowsing rods, Ouija board, looking at water vapor. There's, to see if there's any spirits that people can perceive in them. Ghost boxes, seance, anything that you use a tool to communicate with the dead is ITC. It doesn't have to be electronic. So that was an easy answer there.
Is your phone turned up?
Yes, I'm hearing an echo. And
You
Missy obviously is hearing it too. It's not an echo. It's like somebody's device is turned on. It's
mine's
playing.
not. Mine's muted.
Is that where you're hearing, Missy?
Yeah.
Is
Mine's
anybody
turned all the way down.
is anybody hearing? You're just hearing an echo on Skype?
Yeah, we're hearing people talking
Oh,
like
okay.
us.
I might have mine turned up a little bit. I had it down really low. Let me know if it stopped.
Okay.
It stopped.
Okay, it was me then. Sorry.
What a rookie. I mean, I know you probably don't want to hear, but how I look at it is the family hasn't really started their grieving process, and then people are going to blast this. And I just think, that it's too much.
Yeah.
That's me.
I mean, to me, this is common sense. After, I think some people, they learn, the people that have good intentions, but learn like I did, like, hey, not everybody's going to be okay with your spiritual beliefs and what you do with them. Even though if you have good intentions, it's still going to upset people. So I think a good thing to preach is to take their, to consider their feelings over your own, because I don't think it's worth hurting people that are directly involved with the suffering of these things for your research or your spiritual path. That's my standpoint on it. But, I don't believe that these people have legitimate good reasons. I seen MP ask the question if I've actually ever seen a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen things, not like your classic archetypal ghost, like I haven't seen like a full-bodied apparition, or I haven't seen a full-fledged shadow figure. I've seen light anomalies. I've seen what you would describe as an orb. I've seen energy, and actually, I take that back. I have seen one shadow anomaly that was a fully manifested humanoid figure. It was at the same time that I've seen the orb and the energy anomaly that I have explained a few times on my show. So I have seen things that I believe that's possible that it's spiritual, but I can't tell you objectively if it was. But I can be pretty passionate about my personal subjective belief that it was.
Gilson also just jumped on.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining. There's a couple.
We have M Studies on Wake Paranormal. MP, obviously you shut him out, and then 11 MZRE.
I'm not familiar. I'm not really familiar with the last one you just mentioned.
11? Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, 11. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I usually just call it 11.
Okay. Yep. I am familiar with 11. Wake Paranormal. What's up, buddy? Shout out to Keith Campbell for having his head filleted open like a fish, stitched him back up, and is okay after that. Wow. I'm glad that went okay, man. And I continue to keep you in my thoughts on that, because that's pretty serious. Have you seen his posts of his surgery?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
What's up, Gilson? I see you, buddy.
And I'm happy that he's doing well.
Carrie says not ethical or respectful. I guess referring to the idea that someone would use Kobe Bryant's passing as a opportunity to communicate with the dead. I mean, it's crazy. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to state the fact of, when I communicate, I don't go looking for somebody to communicate with. It's whoever comes to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so I believe, some people might argue, but I feel if they're coming to me, then I'm able to communicate. But I don't go looking for a certain someone. If I am doing a reading and somebody says, I'd like to connect with my grandmother, I don't sit there and say, come on, grandmother, come through. If I just start describing her, then she's obviously there, but I'm not, I think, psychics and mediums aren't, trying to reach to see what we can get. It's if they come to us.
Well, the ones that charge and do this as like a living, like as a profession, do in a way. But my rule, that what you just described is that my basic rule of thumb stating the paranormal comes to you more often than you go to the paranormal. We do ghost hunting, we do paranormal investigation, we do all that stuff. But it seems like generally when people have paranormal experiences, they aren't looking for it when it happens. So that's why it's kind of tough to go find it and see if it happens to you when you're trying to find it. And that might speak to the reason or allow you to infer something about paranormal phenomena. Maybe the fact that you aren't expecting it to happen is a part of the recipe, is maybe, psychically or psychokinetically. I think about that a lot. There's a couple comments, girls, so just go ahead and keep track of them.
Gina Lynn has a question.
Okay.
She said, "Here's one of my problems. I've seen spirits and orbs, etc. But I always wonder if I'm seeing things because I'm a medium, or are they there for everyone to see or hear?"
Okay. Yeah, I think that it's a good job to be skeptical and challenge what you're actually seeing. I think you should see if someone else can experience it with you. And I think once I was able to have someone with me and experience the things that I was seeing, that I was skeptical of, even though they weren't even around me, but seeing the same thing or with me and seeing the same thing, that helps tremendously. So try to replicate that for yourself. I see Joe's watching now. I don't know if you shouted him out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are those who, Joe says, I'm gonna read Joe's real quick. There are those who believe that us just going someplace that is haunted is no different than what this topic is about, that we exploit just the same. And that is a fair idea to bring up. I think that needs to be discussed, because you could be going to a place that has history, and maybe you're trying to see if you can contact the people that are claimed to haunt the location. Let's just say there's a historical location that claims they see Abraham Lincoln's ghost, for example. Okay. Maybe someone in Abraham Lincoln's family runs across this. Is that ethical? Should we consider their feelings or what people may think about it in general about bringing these type of things up? Maybe your spirituality doesn't align with theirs. So when is it appropriate to do these things? So that is a legitimate question. The day of someone passing? Probably not. 100 years later, you may want to consider if that's the same or not. And when you go to these locations, I think it's different when you go to the locations and respectfully ask for signs of their presence, instead of popping open a ghost box or an app from your bedroom and uploading that to YouTube like 12 hours after they pass. I think that there's a difference, and there's a spectrum that you need to consider. There's, definitely things you need to consider, and definitely things that you need to diversify within that spectrum. What do you guys think about that? Let's see here.
In my opinion, Abraham Lincoln died like 100 years ago. They've had time to mourn his death. They knew he was dead. I mean,
well,
Vanessa just found out her husband died 6 hours before he was doing an ITC session trying to contact him.
Wait a minute, what?
Vanessa, which is Kobe's wife.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I just found out 6 hours prior that her husband died before he tried to contact him.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can say that no one should be offended or upset about Abraham Lincoln, but there may be somebody out there that's upset. Maybe they're a descendant of Abraham Lincoln's or maybe there's somebody that holds him in such a high regard that they find it offensive. Like, everybody can find anything offensive nowadays. But
Right, I understand that.
But should we weigh that
they
with
knew
our...
he was dead.
Yes, I think that matters. I do think that matters, Missy. I do think that matters.
I mean, if he comes to Jess or he comes to me and he like wants to talk, okay, I'll talk to you. But I'm not gonna go out and seek you out, like, here I am, come talk to me.
Yeah, but we do that. We do go to places to seek people out.
Right, but not the night that they died.
Right. Well, it depends. Maybe someone comes to you and say, "Hey, my son just died. My husband just died. Can you try to contact them?" It's one thing to do it privacy when they ask, but then when you have nothing to do with the situation and do it on a public forum or publicly publish a video, I mean, there's so many things to consider, and that's why I think it's valuable to talk about all of this again. Right? So, what are they saying on YouTube?
MP says, I want spirits to come to me, and then I would be willing to help.
Right.
Jen says, I think you got to give them time for transition at least, but I wouldn't call anything. It's not nice to, I think.
Wow. Derek said that Kobe Bryant's wife found out through TMZ.
Yes.
Can you imagine that? Just let's take a moment and imagine that. I can't. I don't even want to.
No.
Wow. Yep. You wonder if TMZ considers this point. Like, they're just trying to report the news, but they're not considering, has Kobe Bryant's family heard about it? So, the news can work much faster than the information transfer between the wife and the family members, right? So there's an ethical principle there, in journalism. And this is kind of a cross. I think they're relatable. And when I took journalism, and I actually was a journalist, a staff writer for my local town for a short period of time after graduating, there are ethics involved in journalism. But when you get to a certain point, when you're a celebrity, the debate is when you reach a high point of public status that your privacy just goes out the window. But that's debatable. And there's still a conversation that should be had about that. What's Laura got for us?
She said also with religion, you can really upset people. They may not believe you should try to talk to the dead.
Right. Yep. That's definitely been brought up. I know Joe kind of hinted at that, us going to locations and trying to contact people and putting up the videos. People think that's trash. And I do think about that. Like, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, for example. Maybe someone worked there, or maybe someone had a family member that died there. Maybe their tragedy was made popular, or there's a ghost story surrounding that. Maybe they don't want to have everything on their suggested watch page on YouTube talk about someone that they cared about. Like, maybe they don't want to hear about that. And you have to consider that. And I think, here's a thought. When you're doing this and you're publishing video or any type of information about your attempt or research, you have to consider not only the entity, alleged spirit, ghost, whatever you're trying to contact or find evidence of, someone who is related to this person or events. How are they going to perceive what you're doing? So we don't always think about that, but I think we should. What do you guys think? Do you guys think about that all the time when you go do things like this? or does it not even cross your mind? Or sometimes it does, depending on the situation or the place or the person.
What do you think, Jess?
I heard the last bit of it. I've been reading comments.
Well, go ahead and read the comments.
Betty just says, I definitely can't imagine that. TMZ isn't news, it's paparazzi journalism. MP says, I had a guy that committed suicide and I prayed for him, and I think St. Michael's sent his grandma to take him to the spirit world. I do not know what I will do with spirits, but they have to come to me somehow. We'll see.
Okay. Becky has a comment there.
Already seen someone post some BS that they contacted Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I've seen 2 people at least, right, Jessica? You had seen 2 people? 2 different
Yes.
ITC researchers. Yeah,
Yes.
we're not going to name these people. We're not going to call them out, and we're not going to direct any attention to them. But it's happening. Claudia says, when my team does an investigation, we ask the family if they want it to be private. We can use it on social media. Yeah, that's definitely a good practice. I just done a residential case yesterday, and we actually have legal paperwork that we fill out to ensure their privacy and to make sure what we can and cannot use. General 7 is telling me that's all right, and I don't know what it's about. It's kind of frustrating that, when they say things like that. I'm like, I feel bad that I don't know the context. So yeah, seems like we're all on the same page, but we're kind of trying to feel everything out. Joe just chimed in with something here.
Yeah, he says, we investigated over the summer a location where there was a death of a child inside the home. I never brought that up in any of my videos. The child's mother still alive and still lives in town. She's still tore up about that.
Yeah, and I will mention that Eddie Norris, the owner of Monroe House, when I was interviewing him, he was very, very careful about the things he's experienced, the things that have been researched, because he lives close to the town where people are related to these people and events. So he was very cognizant of how he would be perceived, because I guess he had experience with, the feedback he was getting from what he would put out there publicly. So he has learned how to go about such things. And, that's cool, because Eddie doesn't want to upset anybody at all. He empathizes with these people. I think as long as you try to do it, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to do things you may regret, but as long as you have good intentions and you're trying to prioritize, how others would suffer from what you do, or to perpetuate the suffering, or, anything like that for people, I think that that's the best way to go. But, everything's debatable. Everything, I just think there's a threshold of the amount of shit you have to put up with. I think there's, do you girls agree? There's a threshold of what's enough, what's too much, what's crossing the line. So I want to try to establish, or maybe, have people talk about what those lines and thresholds are and how we go about crossing them or going up against them very closely. What's up, Dustin? I see you there. General said, oops, LO, that's what I meant. Dang typo regarding people attached to spirits or entities and their feelings. Right, okay. Yeah, does anybody feel bad, like if someone who has passed in your family and you're talking to another family member or friend about them and they're not always good, do you not say things because of that, because they're not there to defend themselves? Or do you not speak ill of the dead at all? What I'm kind of interested in what people think about that too. Yeah, because I've definitely heard some really crazy comments about Kobe Bryant like not being empathetic at all because they were claiming that Kobe was a rapist. I didn't even know about that. And I think that's something really crazy to say after someone's died with their child. You know what I mean? Is that something that anybody in this chat would do? I don't know. Like, you know, maybe somebody died and they had done something and you're judging them. You know, you're minimizing the tragedy of their death because of something that you're judging them that they did. Like that just seems like not their place to do. But maybe it is, but should you keep it private? I don't know. Jen's threshold gets weak at times. It can happen. It can definitely happen. He was on the news for attempted rape. Okay. Thanks, Sandy. I don't follow everything in pop culture very well. Unless it's like spammed in the media, then I notice it.
If you've seen his post earlier, you would understand. Book post.
The book post.
Yeah, what I know about the occult versus what I know about real life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was funny to me. Joe says that story is apparently true, Justin, and ended up going to civil court. It wasn't made clear if he was guilty or innocent. So they kind of maybe agreed or cut a deal to not publicize it, which happens a lot.
Derek said Kobe was charged with sexual assault for having an affair on his wife.
Okay, a sexual assault and affair are two different things to me.
She was younger than him.
So a statutory rape type of scenario.
Yeah.
So a below the legal age. Okay. That gets even more fuzzier. Yeah, I just think that you know, when people are in the public, they just kind of throw things out there like willy-nilly, like I can say anything I want because they're a public figure type of thing. But what type of energy are you vibrating with when you do that? What do you ever think about that type of behavior? Like, did people ever regret or analyze what they say when they do things like that? Because I'm constantly rewatching these shows to see what I said, because I don't script these things on these shows. I just kind of have an idea what I'm going to say. But when you're talking about free will and you're kind of just throwing your ideas and thoughts out there, you really don't filter them at all. Well, at least I don't in this type of forum and format. But in other forums and formats, I may say something that I would later regret and might try to change my behavior a little bit. I just think that the more and more we try to analyze what we say when we're angry or sensitive about certain things, maybe after the fact, to try to become a better person. You know, and ultimately one of the takeaways from the show is to how to make yourself a better person and do the things that you're trying to do with good intentions. So, you know, if we go to a location with history and claims of someone haunting that location, it's definitely a good idea to try to figure out how others would perceive you doing these things and putting it out there that may have an issue with it. So, you know, even if you have a disclaimer like, okay, if anybody's watching this that's a family member or you know, associated with these real life people and these claims, if you have a problem with it, I'm not trying to exploit I mean, is a disclaimer good enough? Is, you know, trying to just, you know, put your intention out there good enough? Or do you need to do something more? This is a question for anybody watching. Do you need to do something more to express that your intentions are good? Like, does it even matter what your intentions are? Should you only intend to not offend or do something unethical despite what you're trying to do? So should you filter or not publish certain things that you're trying to do? Like, what's the threshold? What is acceptable in the general public and what's not? I'm kind of trying to find these lines. I know Joe brought up a good one that we talked about, but I want to see some more if you guys can think of them.
Real quick, we'll switch back. The girl was 19, worked in a hotel he was staying in. She claimed rape and then wouldn't even testify. The charges were dropped. Betty looked it up.
Okay. All right. Thank you for looking that up. That's not statutory rape, but she's claiming that she was raped. And those, yeah. I don't know.
And everybody's just commenting maybe, she was just trying to chase some money.
MP, I do believe in reincarnation. And I don't really, I believe that it's kind of a complex thing. I don't subscribe to what certain denominations of mainstream religions say about the afterlife. And then there's there's a mainstream Eastern belief in reincarnation that I don't exactly subscribe to. I'm kind of open and not sure exactly what I believe there. So you could call me agnostic, believer in reincarnation. But I've seen a lot of good supporting evidence that reincarnation is a thing based on the anecdotal reports and research that legitimate researchers have done with children recalling very highly detailed information about people that have passed on before they were alive. Okay. And the one we do talk about, the James one that had all the memories about the fighter pilot that was shot down in World War II. You definitely want to look that one up because that's the best case to date for reincarnation. So yeah, I believe that's very, very possible. I believe that reincarnation is a thing before I believe that, your soul enters your body's a vessel and entangles with the soul, and then after you die, it just stays entangled with your soul, and then it's judged by a higher being. I don't believe that at all. I don't see any evidence for it at all. But I could be wrong. Betty Kegley, I don't want to believe in reincarnation. I don't want to think my son isn't somewhere that I can see him again. You can believe in reincarnation and believe that your son is still intact, his consciousness. Here's something, food for thought, Betty. This is what I believe. I believe that the soul is something that can go in, go out of the body, and then go and jump to different, bodies, like reincarnation states. But I also believe that the consciousness can entangle with the soul, and it can entangle with the physical environment, objects, locations, even your DNA. I believe since your son and you are physically entangled or connected through your DNA in your physical part, that is a thing, okay? A spiritual thing. And you need to consider that. You need to consider all the physical things that it's entangled with is objects, keepsakes that you have, places that he lived, that pillow you don't want to throw away because it smells like your son. That's a spiritual thing. So just because reincarnation's a thing doesn't mean that his consciousness of his brain here on Earth is gone. I think that very much stays intact and can get very complex. Tell Justin I need more pictures. Of what, Melissa?
Did she buy some from Gettysburg?
She got some pictures. I do have more. I just Missy got one from me for Christmas that you probably like, but I think you did see it at Gettysburg, but didn't choose that one. That was one of my favorite ones. Go to my Instagram at Justin Brown Photography, and you can look through there and you can show me which one you like, and I'll send you a print. I have no problem doing that.
She just called Bill Davis sweet face.
Who did?
Melissa.
Sweet face. I'm sure that he'll eat that up.
Justin, that's going to be
I choose
your new
moons.
name for him.
Okay, you talked over each other. What?
All right, go ahead, Missy.
She said I choose moons.
Okay. I have lots of moon pics. Quite a few. I stopped taking them because I shot it so much.
You have new crystals. You can shoot it through your new crystals.
I want to try doing that more, but I got to get it's cold outside and I don't have a proper studio inside to do it. Okay, Tina's got something there.
I think no matter what, the family should always be advised. No one should be doing stuff without permission, period. Shame on those in the field who are taking advantage for likes or subscribers.
Preach, Tina. I agree. I mean, I think there's a line that should not be crossed. I mean, I think obviously a celebrity just dies. The first thing you should not do is I'm going to turn on my ghost box and my camera and record a session of me trying to contact them and everyone subjectively commenting that they believe that they're talking. I just no. Nope. It's a no for me. It's just no. No, and no. And I understand that when we go to places and we do that, you also got to think that these places are already exploiting these things. So you're involved with a potential exploitation. You know, any haunted place that allows people to come to do tours, that allows them to investigate, to express or research or investigate their own spiritual endeavors or research is a possible exploitation if you're making money or if you're trying to entertain people by doing that. I mean, that's definitely a position in the debate that you need to consider.
MP says, Justin, who is your favorite investigator?
I know Paul Browning's one. I really like Kenny Biddle.
Your mom?
My mom would, I mean, I've turned her into an investigator. I wouldn't label her as that, but someone who has been part of my spiritual journey is my mother, obviously, but I don't look at her as an investigator. She doesn't investigate what she does. I investigate what she does. So I wasn't thinking of that. There's a lot of people out there that I like. A heck of a lot of people that do video content. I know Keith Campbell's in the chat. I definitely like Keith a whole lot. You know, I like everybody on my team. I like a lot of people out there. I try to, you know, follow people and support people that I think that are good. But my favorite one,
Bill Davis.
Bill Davis. Yeah. Bill Davis is my favorite investigator. I'll think about that and get back to you. I feel bad by like labeling someone as my favorite because I like so many. I respect so many.
Hannah says her favorite YouTubers are Sam and Kobe, and they go to certain haunted or abandoned places, but they never show the names of the headstones. That's what I love most about them. They are very genuine. And I think that's a good idea. You know, I mean, that's something to always make sure when you are filming that you're not putting, you know, and names out there.
Yeah. And when I mentioned that before, I've definitely considered that and I'm careful about that. And, ban Hannah from YouTube because she didn't say interface death.
Oh,
just joking.
Hannah is Kelly's daughter.
Mm-hmm. Doom. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that when you enter a cemetery, you definitely need to consider, you know, you need to empathize with the people that are there that you believe that could be contacted there. I think that is the most important thing. That's the first thing I think of when I go into a cemetery, you know, and I have gone to this, like Elizabeth's grave. That's probably the most investigated cemetery I've done. And I have not seen anybody that she could potentially, we don't even know if she's a real person. So I think that that's an okay thing. But when you know you're reading headstones and trying to talk to people like tombstone to tombstone, you need to consider who could be watching that, who could be affected by that. she's excited by her next adventure. Well, hopefully I'll get the Haunted Hartford City doc done by the end of February, and everybody could check that out. Hopefully we can get rolling this year and start doing some stuff. I know we've got one investigation booked and a couple events that we'll be at.
Spirit Stalker Afterlife. Justin, can you check your Streamlab donation? Did mine go through tonight?
I absolutely will. Just give me one. Who was that?
Spirit Stalker Afterlife.
Okay.
While you're checking that, I read Joe's. I actually have permission to show names at a cemetery I'm down the road from, but there are certain headstones where I am not allowed to.
Okay. I have not received a donation from Spirit Stalker yet, so it may not have worked. I don't know why it wouldn't work, because it worked last time she did it.
Jared said, honestly, if you don't have a good set of ethics, you should not be an investigator.
I agree. I think it's something you should always be thinking about. Did you, Spirit Stalker, did you use the same link that has always been there?
She said Yvonne is her name. So if it showed up as Yvonne?
No, I'm not seeing anything. Did you pay with PayPal or a credit card? You don't have to say that on the stream if you don't want to. You can just message me on Facebook or email me that. But I have not received any notification. Have you guys seen it pop up on the screen? Because if you use the Streamlabs one, it should have popped up.
There's no box on the screen this time.
No, the box I took down because people are wondering what it was, and no one was donating. But we could have showed that Spirit Stalker donated if it worked. If it didn't work, Yvonne, you could definitely just PayPal me at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net directly, and that will work. I can put that up for you if you just want to do it directly. But I like the fact that Streamlabs puts it up there.
She said credit card.
Okay, that might be a reason why it didn't go through yet. I'll have to look into that. You can definitely check to see if it's been subtracted from your account. That's a good way to tell.
Sandy said I saw it. It was about 10 minutes ago. And you keep cutting out.
She saw the donation?
Sandy said she did, yes.
Okay. Let me just check Streamlabs and we'll do that.
Do you want me to read Derek's comment while you do that?
Sure.
He said, also, you must remember that it doesn't matter how much you research the location. You could possibly still be trying to contact a person who is not just a passed down story.
You cut out a little bit there at the end.
He said, also, you must remember that it doesn't matter how much you research the location. You could possibly still be trying to contact a person who is not a real person, just a story.
Right. That's true. Very true. All right, I'm looking at Streamlabs, donation history. What's today's date?
The 28th.
I did get it. And it shows credit card. It just has not gone through. So it must have popped up, but I did get it. Thank you very, very much for your donation. If you want me to tell everybody how much you donated, I will. I didn't know if you wanted it to be public, but that is awesome. That is definitely going to help. Yeah, I think that works through Stripe. There might be like a couple day wait on me receiving that. I have to look and see how that works. But thank you. We can show it. Well, she probably intended it to be public, so we'll see if we can show it real quick. Boink. Here it is. Right there. Get rid of the overlays.
She says no, she's not shy. Oh, she says no, I'm shy. Take it off the screen.
Too late. Too late. Yep. Thank you very much for donating. Yeah, all the donations goes directly into the content that we do. I know we had a very generous donation that was that he wanted to keep private. That definitely helped the content, the video production stuff. Most of it goes into the video production stuff because it's so insanely expensive.
And let you guys know, since she said that she was, shy about it. And if you donate it through that, like on the show, it will pop up on the screen of how much you donated. So if you don't want anybody to know how much you donated, send Justin a private message, and you guys can figure it out from there.
If you want to keep it private, just use my email at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net or my PayPal me link. If you just want my PayPal me link, I can send it to you. I probably should do both in the descriptions. I gotta consider all this stuff. Yep, but it said at 8:45 p.m. Spirit Stalker. Got it. All right. Well, we're at an hour almost. Does anybody have any final questions, any final comments that they want us to react to? Any question at all? It doesn't even have to relate to the topic. I'm happy to let you guys know what I think of just about anything, as long as it's within reason. Yeah, Sandy, thank you very much. You're very observant. I know I have it popping up right in front of me, but sometimes I'm not seeing it because I'm hearing the notifications go off quite a bit. I need to get somebody just to look at the notifications. Sandy, if you're available for that, let me know.
You got a message on the Justin Brown on that. You got a private message too.
Okay.
During the show.
Was it from a viewer? Did you see who it was?
I didn't see who it was.
I think it was the residential.
It could have been.
The name sounds familiar, so.
Definitely could have been. We'll take a look. Thanks for liking the stream, Melissa. I see your notification there. Oh yeah,
Jen says.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, Jen says I would love to ask about aliens. LOL, but I'll save it.
What about aliens?
She's teasing you.
Well, it's okay. I can talk about aliens. We talk about it from time to time.
During an investigation, do you prefer going lights out or working under low lights?
We do both. A lot of times when we get to the investigation part, it's at night, and depending on certain situations, we do both. When we do the walkthroughs, they're always done with regular light. I never do them with infrared, just because it's not very safe, and the girls are just familiarizing themselves with the location. I think that you should do both, but should not think that you could only do it in the dark or at night. Like if you're ghost hunting, usually that's done at night. But if you are investigating someone's residence or investigating any claim you want to investigate during the time in which the claim is reported to happen, that's the most important thing. A lot of people say that you should not just turn off the lights and do infrared because you can't see anything. If the person who's seen something saw it with their eyes in normal light spectrum situations, that's how you should investigate it. But we do a lot of infrared applications, and I believe a lot of paranormal phenomena does happen in the infrared spectrum, but I think we're doing it wrong. And that's a whole another thing that we can't tackle because we don't have sensitive enough infrared sensors on our cameras to see very low powered infrared anomalies. John says he would rather have light.
Jen does have a question.
Okay.
She would like to know if your mom has had any experiences with aliens.
Yep. Absolutely. She has. A lot of people who are like my mother have had visitations from extraterrestrial beings, and it's usually described as balls of light coming down from the horizon and landing in a nearby location or really adjacent location, and little people coming out, children-like beings, and some of them are taller, and they actually like play with them as children, and they interact with them in an almost normal way. And if you, and like my mom, when she was younger, she would tell me that she thought these things were normal. Okay. She didn't know any better. So a lot of people don't talk about it because it sounds insane. And it is. It does sound insane. I think that if I would experience that, I wouldn't have the luxury of thinking it was normal. But, you know, she lived on a farm. She was, you know, she was very, you know, she wasn't as social as everybody. She didn't have a lot of friends she talked to. She had her sister there and her mom and dad. So a lot of people don't come forward with their interactions with beings like this because they either think it's absolutely crazy to talk about or they disbelieve themselves. But I think there's some correlation between people who are exceptional and have abilities to connect with these type of things have encounters like that. It's a thing. It's a definite thing. We're going to wrap up the show. Is there any other? Did we clear out all the questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, Bill had a question for me and Jess. He wants to know where our green screens are.
Mine's still at Amazon. I was actually supposed to give Josh a link a couple weeks ago, and I didn't. For him to order me one, but
there lies your answer.
What can you do?
I slack.
We'll let him win.
Yeah, that's what our plan was all along.
Mm-hmm. I see your comment there, Jen. You're free to message me or talk to me about anything like that if you want. But we're going to wrap up the show. Thanks, Jess and Missy, for helping me out. You guys were great, as always. You guys watching and chatting are great. You are the most important thing about the show because I need to know what's going on. When I tell you guys how I feel, I want to consider what you guys tell me about the subject. I don't want this just to be an echo chamber too. So if anybody's ever watching that oppose what I say, I want to know respectfully and why. But with that being said, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Thank you for being awesome. We're going to go to these links. If you want to keep track of what we do in the paranormal field, we have the website there at interfacedeath.net. We're there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. There's the PayPal me link if you just want to PayPal me directly and don't want anybody to know about it. Patreon is there. Patreon.com/support interface death, the way to financially support us and get rewarded for it. And we'll talk about our Patreon supporters in a moment. And if you want to join our community on Discord, you absolutely can. If you're on Facebook, you can join United Paranormal Society. I constantly share things in there that pertain to everything and anything in the paranormal field. So please, if you're watching the show and would like to join us at UPS, send an invite notification to me and we will accept it. And last but not least, we have Patreon. Without our supporters, the show would just definitely wouldn't be what it is. And we need every supporter that we can get. Please extend your thanks to Clay Bornman, Katie Turner, RJ Murphy, Scotty Fox, Casey Schreiner, Jessica Bias, Paranormal Reporter Anthony Grothis, Bonnie Ring, Heather Elliott, Joe Vitale, The Ghost Guild, Kelly McConkey, Tony Felosi, Betty Kegley, Cherry Capital Shadow Seekers, Deadlight LLC, General 7, and Spirit Stalker Afterlife. Thank you for your donation tonight. Thank you. And that's where we're going to leave it. Tomorrow we're going to be talking to Robbie Thomas on the Necromancer Live Show. If you're only a Facebook watcher, you have to go to the Necromancer Live Show Facebook page and follow that. That's where we're going to be streaming on Facebook. Everywhere else, if you're watching, it's at the same spot on YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. And another episode of Interface Death Weekly going on this Friday, all the same time, same channel. You guys have a good night. Stick around for some video promotions. We cross promote with RU Media with Paratalk Radio, with Paranormal Soup with Jason Bland, and Paranormal Quest. You guys have a good one. We'll see you next time. Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good.
Dead light. For those who aren't afraid to see what lurks in the night.
Cell, I'd like to see you. What the fuck was that?
Lost your audio from your lavalier. Did the power go off?
Well, I felt like I got pinched, but it wasn't like a
Did the display turn off?
This just died.
You gotta be kidding me.
It just died.
Okay, that's brand new lithium-ion batteries. We'll keep rolling. Dude, there's...
Yeah, but at least that one's definitely documented it. But that's still rolling. That camera.
Oh, yeah, this is rolling too.
Yeah, these just freaking died.
Let me double check.
I held it in, the light came on to the title screen. And
Dude, I'm starting to feel really, like, weird sensations touching me, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I felt like something.
Yeah.
Like just
dead as a doornail.
And those are brand new.
In recent years, the word paranormal has taken on a new place in thoughts and minds of people everywhere. Once a word associated with blasphemy and the supernatural, paranormal has entered mainstream thoughts and conversations. 42% of American population believe in either ghosts or hauntings today. Within that, the discussions in the media have tripled in the last 20 years. In 2016, a radio talk show rose from the darkness in New York and now has become a popular beam of light with a no-holds-barred paranormal discussion. It's raw, live, and sometimes out of control. It's real and here, allowing all that care to listen to new ideas, new thoughts, old superstitions, and sometimes the downright weird. You want different? You want off the cuff? You want edgy? Then Paratalk Radio is what you should be listening to. It's 2 hours of guests, interviews, skepticism, unusual topics, and outside-the-box strange that pushes every button on the soundboard of life. So again, discover Paratalk Radio. Monday nights on WLFE DB Radio Network, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Paratalk Radio can be seen as live videocast on Facebook and heard on audio streams through iHeart, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Spreaker, Comcast, Radio.com, and so many more. Join Ted and Cindy every Monday with guests and topics that will open a pathway to the unknown, the supernatural, and the paranormal.
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the world wide web of weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
Hi, I'm Eric McGill.
And I'm David Woolever.
And we are paranormal investigators welcoming you to join us as we put new theories to the test and attempt to explain strange phenomena. We invite you on a journey that will give you a glimpse into our haunted minds. Hi guys, Eric McGill here, RU Media Network and Our Haunted Minds. I just want to talk to you guys real quick about the awesome stuff going on behind the scenes. The Our Haunted Minds video is coming along swimmingly, and it's really going to be awesome. As you guys know, Adam Kimmel is joining us for the first investigation with Dave and I. And then after that, we may have Chris, or we may have Becca, or we may have Ashley. But it's really exciting, and you guys are not going to want to miss this first one. A lot of awesome stuff happened.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Goose.
And I'm Michael Bradley.
Is that what you're calling yourself tonight?
Heisenberg.
Not the Angry Kitty.
Max Braggins.
Anywho, we're the hosts of the Cryptic Paranormal Show.
On our show, we'll talk about all things paranormal except Bigfoot. He freaks me out.
Really, dude?
You know that, but I mean, I guess we could talk about him as long as I don't have to see him.
We will talk. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about all fields in the paranormal realm.
And every week we will interview new guests, celebrities, and researchers in the field, and all our comrades in the paranormal underground.
And we aren't afraid to ask the hard questions no one else will. Our conversations are rooted in our own experiences as paranormal investigators.
So be prepared to have your minds, your opinions, and your beliefs challenged.
And let's not forget to warn them about all the tomfoolery and shenanigans. Let's just say, you might want to put the kiddos to bed before tuning in. They don't call us the paranormal shock jocks for nothing.
Do they call us that?
If they don't, they will.
So be sure to tune into the Cryptic Paranormal Show every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on RU Media Network.
Spook you later, crypto heads.
Bye.
Shut up.
Welcome into the Abyss with your host, Sean Gilmore. Open your mind, both of your ears, and all three of your eyes to discuss all things supernatural with weekly special guests. We believe that we all learn from each other and we all have a lot to learn. What will you learn today? Here is your host, Sean Gilmore.